In our 20s and 30s, many women love with a touch of hesitation, sometimes giving too much, sometimes bending themselves just to be wanted, to be chosen. But at 60, love looks entirely different. A woman no longer loves to please or to prove. She loves because she chooses. At this stage of life, she is bolder. She dares to live openly in her emotions, to express her heart without apology. And when she does, that love is anything but fading. It is clearer, stronger, and more passionate than before. The truth is, after 60, a woman doesn't scatter her affection. She gives her tenderness, her devotion, even her most private expressions of love, only to the man who truly holds her heart. In today's video, we'll uncover 5 things a woman will only do for the man she truly loves. These aren't clichés about romance or fleeting passion. They are living proof of devotion, choices rooted in genuine care, loyalty, and the wisdom that only years of life can bring. Because for a woman over 60, love is no longer about showing off or proving herself. It's about honoring a connection so deep she offers what she would never give to anyone else. Before we begin, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to my channel, where we share timeless wisdom, life lessons, and reflections on love and aging with clarity and grace. Now, let's begin with the very first secret, a profound gesture that's often overlooked, yet speaks volumes when it's given. Number 1. She cares for you naturally, without being asked. For others, she may be polite, kind, even helpful. But with the man she truly loves, her care flows like instinct. She senses what he needs before he says a word, and she leans toward those needs not as an obligation, but as devotion. I remember speaking with Margaret, a 67-year-old woman who had lived much of her later life independently after raising her children. With friends, she was kind. With family, dependable. But when Margaret met David, a retired engineer she grew close to, something in her shifted. She began anticipating his comfort in ways she never consciously planned. She remembered how he liked his tea, slipped an extra scarf into her bag on chilly evenings, noticed when his energy dipped, and gently suggested he rest. None of these gestures were grand, yet all were seamlessly woven into her quiet attention. For David, who had lived many years without such care, this quiet warmth reached deeper than words ever could. Margaret once laughed when David thanked her for always placing his favorite chair by the window. She replied, "I don't even think about it. That's how I know I love you." That response captured the essence of her care. It wasn't duty, it wasn't performance, it flowed easily, born out of affection. Aristotle once described love as to will the good of another. Real love is not passive, it actively seeks the well-being of the beloved. Her story shows us something simple but profound. When a woman truly loves, her care is not about proving herself or controlling her partner. It becomes part of her daily rhythm, a quiet devotion that speaks louder than any declaration. And for men over 60 seeking a deeper connection, for those who value sincerity, loyalty, and small acts of devotion, this kind of care is the clearest sign. When she tends to you without being asked, she's not trying to control or impress you. She simply wants your good, again and again, through countless subtle gestures. That kind of care tells you more than any "I love you." It shows you that you're not a duty or a burden. You are the one she chooses to nurture, freely and continually. Younger love may express itself through words or passion, but at this stage of life, love often reveals itself through instinctive care, unscripted, unforced, and without expectation of return. So the very first secret thing a woman does, only for the man she truly loves, is this: she offers care that is natural, unasked for, and unwavering. She carries your comfort in her thoughts, weaves your happiness into her actions, and lets you feel your life gently held inside hers. This care isn't about dependence, it's about devotion. Up next, we'll explore the second thing a woman does only for the man she truly loves. She invests her time and attention into your happiness, as if your life is intertwined with hers. Number 2. She invests her time and attention in your happiness. Time, after all, is the one resource that grows more precious with age. By the time she is in her 60s or 70s, a woman has learned she cannot give it away carelessly. That's why when she offers her time freely, when she sits beside you not out of obligation, but out of desire, when she listens with her full presence instead of half distracted, she is saying something no words could ever match. Your life matters to me. The French philosopher Simone Weil once wrote, "Attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity." When a woman listens with her whole self, when she chooses to spend her hours beside a man rather than scattering them elsewhere, she is practicing this rare generosity. And for older men, who often fear becoming invisible as they age, that attention is magnetic. The contrast is just as telling. If her time feels reluctant, if her presence is distracted, if her hours are given to everyone but you, then what you have may be companionship, but not love. Because love at this stage of life is not measured in promises or performances, but in the simple, quiet choice to give the one thing that can never be replaced: time. For the man she truly loves, her time is not spent, it is given. Not in grand gestures, but in daily presence. Not in wasted hours, but in meaningful moments shared. And in that gift, he knows, without needing to ask, he is part of her life's rhythm. Have you ever noticed how it feels when someone truly gives you their time and attention rather than just being present? Share your reflections in the comments below. Your story might remind others that time, not words, is the truest measure of love. But time and attention are only part of the story. Love at this stage of life isn't just about being present, it's about how that presence is expressed. And that leads us to the third secret, one that speaks directly to the heart. Number 3. She offers gentleness and intimacy as a gift of love. By the time a woman reaches her 60s or 70s, she's seen enough of life to know that passion can cool, routines can grow rigid, and affection can wither if it isn't nurtured. But with the man she truly loves, she makes a choice, a quiet, daily choice to keep tenderness alive. It shows up in the smallest, most ordinary ways. The way she slips her hand into his as they walk through the park. The way she rests her head on his shoulder during an evening movie. The way her laughter lingers when he tells a joke he's told 100 times, as if it's brand new. These moments are easy to miss, but for him, they are everything. They are proof that love hasn't grown cold, that affection hasn't been replaced by mere companionship, that he is still her beloved, not just her housemate. The Jewish philosopher Martin Buber once wrote that real love isn't about using another person for comfort, it's about meeting them as a whole living soul. And intimacy is how that meeting is expressed. Through tenderness, two people affirm one another's humanity, refusing to let age or time steal the closeness that makes love sacred. For older men, this gift carries profound meaning. Many secretly fear becoming invisible as they age, seen as useful, respectable, perhaps even dependable, but no longer desired. When a woman continues to reach for him, to touch him, to speak with warmth, she gives him something priceless, the reassurance that he is still seen, still cherished, still wanted. And that reassurance, delivered not in grand declarations, but in the softness of daily gestures, is often the clearest sign of her devotion. Because in the end, it isn't the passion of youth that sustains love after 60. It's the tenderness that turns ordinary moments into sacred ones. Honoring a man gives him strength in the world, but love goes even deeper. Because the greatest gift isn't just what she does in public, it's the trust she builds in private. Number 4, she protects his dignity and honors him. In the later chapters of a man's life, after years of building, giving, and carrying responsibility, there often comes a quieter struggle. He may feel as though people look past him, as though his voice matters less, or his place in the room has grown smaller. A woman who truly loves him recognizes this without being told. She becomes the one who restores his dignity, not with empty praise, but with loyalty, respect, and a presence that refuses to let him be forgotten. I'll never forget Jonathan, a retired contractor in his 70s. In public, many treated him as though he were invisible. At the doctor's office, staff would often speak to his daughter instead of him. At gatherings, conversations drifted past him. But his partner, Claire, never allowed him to fade into the background. She proudly introduced him at events, openly asked for his opinions, and when someone once dismissed his remark as outdated, she gently but firmly replied, "That's not outdated, that's experience speaking." Jonathan later admitted those small moments meant more to him than any gift because they made him feel respected again. Jonathan once said of Claire, "She makes me feel like I still matter." That simple sentence is the heart of this truth. To honor a man is not to flatter him, but to recognize him. To protect his dignity is not to fight on his behalf, but to make sure his voice is heard, his wisdom valued, and his humanity remembered. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminded us that true worth lies not in possessions, but in how a person is honored. And for men in their later years, being honored is often the deepest expression of love. A woman who stands by him when others overlook him shows that in her eyes, age has not reduced him, it has refined him. This honoring isn't reserved for public moments. At home, it appears in the way she listens to his stories without impatience, the way she asks his advice even on small matters, the way she thanks him for the things he still does. For the man she loves, these gestures are not small. They restore his sense of value and humanity. Have you ever experienced someone making you feel truly seen and honored even when others seemed to look past you? Share your story in the comments below. Your words might remind someone else that dignity, not youth, is the foundation of lasting love. Number 5. She remains loyal and steadfast. At this stage of life, she knows beauty fades, bodies weaken, and circumstances can shift in an instant. But her devotion does not change with the seasons. For the man she truly loves, she gives the rarest gift of all, the certainty that he will not walk the road ahead alone. Eleanor, my 70-year-old neighbor, had once endured the pain of betrayal. Her first marriage left scars that lingered for decades. Broken promises, instability, the ache of giving her heart to someone who did not honor it. When she remarried, she stepped in with caution, aware of how fragile love could feel. Yet over time, she discovered that true love isn't about perfection, it's about loyalty, the daily decision to stay. Her husband, Robert, now 78, began facing serious health challenges. Frequent doctor's appointments, fading energy, and even simple tasks, climbing stairs, walking to the mailbox, became slow and heavy. Some days he looked in the mirror and felt as though age was robbing him not just of strength, but of dignity. Eleanor never let him face that battle alone. She drove him to appointments, waited for hours at the clinic without complaint, and adjusted her own schedule, skipping social events, rearranging plans, not because she had to, but because she wanted him to feel her presence. At home, she noticed the little things, laying his favorite blanket across his legs when the night turned cold, reminding him to take his medicine without scolding, preparing softer meals when chewing became difficult. None of these gestures were grand, yet together they became the quiet rhythm of devotion. On difficult evenings, when Robert felt undeserving of her dedication, he would whisper through tears, "I don't deserve this kind of loyalty." And Eleanor would smile softly and answer, "This is what love looks like." To her, loyalty was not a burden, it was living proof of love. Keeping promises not through words, but through silent, steadfast actions no one else would ever see. Friends often asked Eleanor where she found the strength to keep going. She replied, "Strength isn't the question. Love gives me strength." That is the heart of loyalty, not endurance alone, but the will to stay, not only in moments of joy, but in the long, weary nights when steps falter and spirits sink. Her story reminds us that loyalty is never dramatic. It doesn't need trumpets or grand declarations. It shows itself in steady presence, in a meal prepared, in a word of comfort, in the simple fact that she stays when leaving would be easier. And for older men, this loyalty becomes the clearest sign of all, that her love is not temporary, but enduring, and that he has been given the priceless gift of a woman's unwavering devotion. Remember the 5 things a woman does only for the man she truly loves. The natural care she gives without being asked, the time and attention she invests, the tenderness and intimacy she offers as a gift, the way she protects his dignity and honors him, and the loyalty she carries, steady and unshaken. Together, these are not small gestures or passing habits. They are living truths, reminders that love after 60 is not about words spoken, but about actions lived, quietly, day after day. The women we admire most show us this lesson clearly. What they bring is not performance or perfection, but authenticity, devotion, and steadfastness. And when those qualities are present, love does not fade with age, it deepens. That truth offers not only wisdom, but hope, because it shows us that growing older does not narrow love's capacity, it sharpens it into something enduring and profoundly real. Before you go, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, where we share timeless wisdom about love, aging, and living with grace and confidence. And remember this: the strongest proof of love is never found in grand declarations, but in the steady presence of one soul choosing to walk beside another, day after day, year after year. Thanks for watching till now, and see you in the next video.